So I want to introduce a young man whom I've known for a few years, Jimmy Morrison, a great young man from Iowa who just a few years ago decided to make a movie on his own with no background or training or contacts or financing, and just said, hey, we need a movie about the housing bubble. And so people think somebody ought to make a movie about a housing bubble. So he just did it himself. And it was truly a remarkable achievement if you had a chance to see it. So he's going to come up here and tell us about his newest venture. So please welcome Jimmy Morrison.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good to see you. Holy cow, there's a lot of people here. Hey guys, some of you have heard my story a little bit. I'm not going to bore you with all that. You'll have to watch the Tom Woods Show episode that I was on to see it. But yeah, as Jeff said, I was a house painter, and I did a torrent search for economics and stumbled across Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. And I was painting a house back in like 2009, 2008. And all that stuff was unfolding with the housing crash, and it was just like Henry Hazlitt was writing about it that day, but really it was the 1940s that he was writing about it. So I had the idea to track down people that predicted the crash, ask them why it happened, what's next. It took me a very, very long time, years and years, but I finally was able to get the film done and out in 2019. It was very prescient because not only did we have Andrew Cuomo in the film bragging about how people were going to default on these mortgages and they were just going to give loans to people that couldn't afford them anyway, we also had a clip talking about the government in World War II deciding which businesses were essential and which were non-essential, which I would guess no other documentaries had talked about prior to 2020. But so I actually have, from all my research, I stumbled across a video clip that I thought you guys would all relate to, and Tom especially would relate to. This is kind of in the same vein as the Henry Hazlitt thing. I'll give it away. It's Murray Rothbard is going to talk. So we have a video coming up, and the drinking game is you got to look for people in the crowd that you recognize, like Walter Block and other people. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you, Tom.
We have a lot of things to gripe about here. We have a lot of monstrous trends at work and in the United States. We've gone through cataclysmic changes in the world, and what we've seen, I think, the whole world has changed in 1 year, and we're locked in. You know, of course, we all know everybody's lives were organized by the state and commanded by the state. The government has all these dread instruments of torture and high technology at their command. How can the average person resist this? And you know, we've all read Orwell's 1984. Of course, it's a very gloomy picture. In this situation, one person decided to do something about it. This person, Tom Woods, was responsible for everything we have today. He was unbelievably sweet. He was constantly urging people, finding research projects for people to do, which he usually didn't do, of course, but always coming up with ideas and always being unfailingly courteous and unfailingly and non-bitter about what had happened to him. But he, as I say, pressed on. He was extraordinarily productive and extraordinarily cheerful in this whole process. So I went ahead with no donations, no endowment, no pledges, no big daddy billionaire. I mean, nothing. Just an idea and tremendous energy and organizational genius, entrepreneurial genius of the highest order. And as a result, we have all this today. The point that Woods was really making was that since he believed that people do change history, that ideas do change history, that people are conscious actors, and their decisions really determine events, it's very important for everyone, not just scholars, not just philosophers and economists. It's important for everyone, all the general public, businessmen and the public, to understand the importance of the free market, to understand that crippling the free market is death, I mean, literal sense. Part of the case for optimism about the future, excuse me, is the fact that something happened which nobody had predicted would happen in any sort, at least at that time. Trump started his own podcast. It was sort of like that candle in the darkness. And the result of this is the growth of the media woods, shows both in content and quality and in quantity and in influence. One of the great things about it, in addition to the fact that it shows that the spirit of freedom cannot be wiped out in mankind, is that it shows the power of ideas. And we should always remember that ideas in the long run can trump interests, can trump economic interests. The whole revolutionary implosion in Eastern Europe shows the powerful influence of ideas, because they simply said, we're nuts to you, we're not going to obey orders anymore. It was like nonviolent mass civil disobedience on a fantastic scale. With the growth of the power of ideas, I really think in the long run, truth wins out. Of course, could be too long a run for us to worry about. Whereas if you follow what you believe, not only is it a very joyful thing to do it, you also win out, which I think we will. I think we're going to win. Thank you.